TC Spiritual Shepherd. Welcome back to another one, y'all. Welcome back to another one. This one, I'm going to do a part 2 on the fasting because I know that this is going to get a really, really big hit. A lot of people have these types of questions. It's like, I've always had these questions. I've always asked these pastor questions and they never gave me the answer. They didn't give me the answer. They led me astray when I asked something that I wanted to get closer. They led me and justified and went around and beat around the bush and justified and just been like, hey, well, whatever. But Yeshua himself said, when you fast. Yeshua said, when, not if. That's a presupposition. Okay? That's a presupposition. That means that we must fast. Not that we could or couldn't or should or shouldn't or would or wouldn't. It means that we must. We must fast. That's what this is all about, is that we must fast. It's about stepping into our power, stepping into our belief systems, our knowledge, our knowledgeability, the capability for us to be able to develop who we actually are, that we step up as actual living beings and do the work, that we don't beat around the bush and say, oh, well, I'm good either way. I'm good either way. Now there's rankings and levels for that, you know, like someone who gets taken too early, but stuff like this is like, there's also levels to this. There's levels to this. So Yeshua said, when you fast, not if you fast. Let me say it again. Yeshua, the Christ, said when you fast, not if you fast, but when you fast. So that means that it's a must to fast, that we are to abstain from food every moon cycle for a certain period of time. Because that's how we could tell time, was based in circadian rhythms, based on cycles, cyclical cycles that we could measure. That's how we found Yeshua to begin with. That's how the three magi, they're magicians, magi. So if they're three magi and they come and give Christ 3 gifts, gold, which was the 8th thing that God said was good, frankincense, and myrrh. Frankincense is to cleanse the spirits around us. Look, air, spirits. But you guys think this is woo-woo. Myrrh, it's a purification of the body. When you consume myrrh, when you purify the bodily vessel. What do you think that they were putting in his body when he was dead? They were putting those things in his body, and his body was at such a stillness, such a meditative state that it would still absorb those things, because he got to a gamma wave. He got to a gamma wave where he could absorb that even when his body could still absorb it. He trained his body while he was alive to still absorb nutrients while he is dead. So his spirit can still be able to absorb those types of things. And this is what we're teaching. Gold was the 8th thing that God said was good after the 7th day where he rested and the 6 days of creation, which we know. All right. 8th thing that God said was good in Genesis was gold. And it's incorruptible. It's a divine representation of that of Leo, of the lion. What? Leo, the lion of the tribe of Judah. Leo, which is the lion which is facing Leo in Egypt, which is perfectly aligned with the stars, which is perfectly aligned with the calendars, which is perfectly aligned with the precession of the equinox. The precession is underway. It's time that we open our eyes, and it's time that you guys stop gaslighting people like me. And I don't care. I don't even care that you guys don't think I'm telling the truth. That makes me laugh. That makes me keep going. That makes me literally so inspired, because I still want to reach you. You still hate me. The Pharisees hate me, but you guys are exactly the type of community that I'm trying to convey and communicate to. You know what? The Pharisees hated him until what? Nicodemus came and said, Lord, how am I to be born again? If I'm already an adult, how am I to be born again? He says, you're not to be born again in the flesh, you're to be born again in the spirit. You are to what? Punish the flesh so you can walk in the spirit. You are to put the flesh in its place. You are to starve the flesh. The flesh likes to feed itself. The dead like to kill itself. The dead likes its own fertilizer. You guys can hear me or you guys cannot. You guys can gaslight me. You guys can gaslight yourselves. You can passively just put this off, ignore me, not like it, not support, slander, lie, envy, jealous. You could do any of these different types of vibrations other than accept, other than be like, yeah, that's facts. That's facts. This white guy's just spitting facts. But we have to get to the point where the color of a man's skin is no different than the color of his eyes. And everywhere this must happen. And until then, everywhere is war. War in the east, war in the west, war in the north, war in the south. Some are singing, some are dancing, some are crying, some are dying. It's time that we realize that we are each other. It's time that we realize we are each other. If you realize that you're the person that you're hurting, you would stop hurting yourself. If you realize that you are the person you're hurting, you would stop hurting yourself. The way that we do this is how Yeshua said it. I don't care what Paul said. Paul, first and foremost, was a Roman. Second, he connected and killed the first essential Christians, the Essenes. He sought out to kill these people and then renew it to Roman Catholicism and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'm not saying all of his stuff is bad. I'm saying his stuff is probably more philosophical than real, than truly developed like Yeshua. Are you going to listen to Paul? Is Paul your savior? Did Paul die on the cross for you? Huh? Did he? Did he die at the place of Golgotha? Did he crucify himself, amplify himself 1,000-fold within the vessel, within the temple of God, within the Golgotha, the place of the skull? Is the skull on a hill over there, or is this the hill? Is this the mountaintop? Because this is the highest head of the household of the whole temple. This is called your temples right here. The eye is the highest form in medicine, in science, in any of these things. And guess what? The eye, science, is to prove God, not to disprove God. Gosh, man, I just get so passionate because it's like people like to believe lies. They like to believe the lies, but they ain't trying to believe in the lion. But they're cool with lying. Where do I put my hands? How can I do like a supernatural scoff? How can I be supernaturally satirical and sarcastic? How many times do I need to not even reincarnate, but how many times do I need to bring a new person here for someone to convey and to receive the truth so then they can step into their embodiment and they can walk as Yeshua walked, that they can live as Yeshua lived, because that's how Yeshua called us to live. It's to live like him. It's why we were to be called Christ-like, or to be like Christ, or to walk like him. It's not like we're going to walk kind of like him, or sort of like him, or maybe like him, or justify, or any of this stuff. Why are we justifying? And then you're going to be like, well, I'm not perfect. Yeah. Doesn't that make it actually even cooler and even better, even more merciful, even more graceful, even more compassionate to a compassionate God, to someone who actually offered mercy to someone who was still sinning? And I'm not always just trying to be necessarily religious or anything, because you guys know how deeply I am about spirituality more than living religious dogma and indoctrination and stuff like this, but truly living in the spiritual walk, walking the journey. You are a soul journer. You are a soul on a journey. You are walking on a journey. That name was given to you by other people. What is your real name? What is your real name? What is your real name? So fasting and the way that we're to live is to be following more what Christ said. It's all through fasting, meditation, breath work, stillness, sitting in silence, living as the Essenes. That's essentially